Good morning, starshine.
Welcome to the real world. Whoa! Mortgage your house and buy Bitcoin with free air. There's no second best, okay?
Jam. Trade of the day. So mainly going to look at the NFP, the employment data today. What the fuck's going on with this? There we go. All right. So, first of all, looking here, BTC is trying to hold this 60k area. Now, one of the things we've seen is, as a typical pullback, we've had one leg down and a bounce, second leg down. So there is a potential for a third leg or a sweep. What I'd be watching for, if you're looking at alts, is which alts make higher lows if and when this happens. So pick your altcoin of choice and look at how some of them are going to move in this area here. I would be looking at something like this, where you may see some of the altcoins rallying up and then back and then holding if Bitcoin rallies up but then goes to new lows. Bitcoin can well take out the lows and sweep. It might just sweep 60 itself. It might dip a bit lower to take out people. I'm fully of the opinion that this is all forming a bottom, but it doesn't mean it's going to go up only straight. It's probably going to see multiple attempts, another sweep, a bit of chop, just sort of this, frustrating type of price action where it's in the phase now where I think this general area does hold, but if you try and long it, it might sweep, and it might sweep, and it might just be one of those frustrating periods where there's another little while of chop. And if you're looking at some of the alts, look for the ones that make higher lows when all this is said and done. Something like Pepe has pulled back much deeper. I think that's because it attracted a lot of positions. If we see a rally, you probably see a sharp rally followed by a sharp retracement and then more of consolidation. These are the kind of moves I'm looking at. Are these things going to form bottoms around here? There's also one alt that I'm looking at, which is Landwolf, which is not this one, I don't think. Is it? No. It's the one on Ethereum, which maybe is not here. This is it. Yeah. This one, Landwolf on Ethereum. I like this. This is a Pepe beta. I mentioned it in altcoin requests. You can check that out. This is one that I'm going to be trading on the long side as we go into the next few weeks. The way I would roughly expect it to go is it probably holds this 200 period, for EMA on the 4 hour and forms some kind of consolidation. If it goes lower, you might see it sweep that area and do the same thing. Just this general area is one I'm watching. It's still probably, again, weeks away from a further breakout. It probably has more consolidation to come, but it's definitely one that's on my radar. It'll follow Pepe or sometimes even lead it from what you can see. And it's about 50-60 million market cap. So it's one to just put on your radar. It's one that's on my radar. Again, it's on altcoin requests from yesterday. Check it out if you want to see a bit more about it. Pepe as well is obviously the one I'm watching, and for now that's about it. Got my eye on a poo as well, but those are the main ones I'm looking at. Before I move on to the NFP, SUI, for the guys in the swing trader chat, you'll know that I'm in a SUI trade. Shorted SUI near the highs yesterday. It's pulled back. Initially, my target is the 100 EMA on the 4 hour. That may have been tested and held. I will still wait and see because the initial bounce rejected at the 50. We're back down. We're sort of consolidating where you could see this going a leg lower or even sweeping lower. So I'm watching. I don't think SUI's necessarily done. I don't think it's like this easy short because a lot of times people think, oh, that's it, it's over short, and you get these really strong rallies that do that before they actually roll over for more of a pullback into consolidation. I do think pullbacks on these are still going to get bought. I do think that dips will be bought. It has come back to first support and gotten bought, so I'll be keeping a close eye on that. If it starts to move back above the bounce of yesterday. That's what we'll be watching. If it starts to move back above here, I will just say rally, just to check in on it if it goes there. But for today, what we're looking at, NFP, the usual non-farm employment and unemployment rate at 12:30 UTC. Bitcoin, watching this, zoom in, looking at the 12:30 area here. So if unemployment rate rises, that is going to be perceived as a negative by the market, but it's not going to have as big an impact as it would have before. Rising unemployment last month was a bad thing. Rising unemployment this month, because the Fed have already cut 50 basis points, is probably not as bad because they're already getting ahead of it. And it probably means they're going to cut another 50 at the next meeting in November, which is going to add fuel to the fire of a risk rally and a easing cycle beginning. You know, China's printing, China's cutting rates. Everywhere else in the world pretty much is starting to cut rates. So is America. So if the unemployment rate rises, I think the expectation is 4.2. And last month it was 4.2, but the month before that it was 4.3. August 4.3, September 4.2. If we see 4.2, 4.3, even 4.4, I don't think that's going to be... It'll initially cause a spike down, but I think it'll be a dip that gets bought. And if unemployment rate comes in at 4.2 or lower, again, bullish. So the outcome here, I think, is if you see unemployment rate rise, 4.3, 4.4, you see a spike down to wherever, but it gets bought, whether it's a spike to there, whether it's a spike to there, but I think it gets bought up because the Fed are already ahead of this by cutting, or at least perceived. And if it just, unemployment rate falls 4.1 or stays at 4.2 or goes to 4.0, you'll see a spike up, most likely. It'll then probably come all the way back to it and then continue from there. NFP, non-farm payrolls, the early expectation from Wednesday was rising, so beat expectations, showing a potentially strong jobs market. So I think the market's pricing that in a little bit as well. I don't think there'll be huge volatility around here unless there's a big number. I know I've drawn those big pump, big dump kind of ideas, but I'm not sure if they will have as big of an impact as in previous months because we've seen a lesser and lesser impact of NFP. But certainly today, Friday, going into the weekend, the only thing really worth viewing and trading, I would say, is the NFP itself. Bitcoin's about to come into this previous liquidity level here, probably going to hit it before then. Keep an eye on that. There's gaps below, there's a gap there, there's an untested area here, there's untested areas above. So I think as with this unemployment data volatility, you might see Bitcoin just fill in some of these sideways gaps and stay in a range, or alternatively have a stronger rally towards 63, like I mentioned on daily levels. But when all's said and done, wherever we go today off this news, I think we come back to it, and the consolidation's not finished yet. So it's a day for day traders. I don't think it's a day to be taking bigger, higher time frame swing positions, and that is it. Many alts look like they want to rally into retests of their highs, so keep an eye on that. And that's it. GM, GM, GM.